guys, it's me Rebecca. So this will be the start of another vlog. It won't exactly be a weekly vlog as today is Monday and I just didn't film anything yesterday just because it was just a day of me doing chores and I was finishing up a book. Yesterday I read 80 pages of The Last House on Needle Street by Katrina Ward, which I did really enjoy, but I just didn't really want to try to explain everything in my feelings about it just because I was at the tail end of it, so yeah. And that's why I wasn't feeling well yesterday, just because I had gotten my COVID and flu vaccinations, one in each arm, and I'm a side sleeper, and my left arm was hurting me after I got my vaccines. I'm fine now, but it was just a rough night for me, so yeah, I was just quite tired Sunday, so yeah. But anyway, today, as you saw, I did go out. I went to this town called Kent, which is like in the, I think, northwestern part of my state, close to like the New York border. Quite pretty, quite small. I did enjoy seeing like the start of the fall foliage as the leaves are starting to change color. And I did go to this independent bookstore called House of Books, where I did pick up Graveyard Shift by Emma. I enjoyed If We Were Villains when I read it in 2021, and I just wanted to check out more about this author, and she had a new book coming out, so I decided why not. And this is about these 5 people who cross paths as they work the late shift, and they are all looking for a story. And one night in October, in a defunct churchyard, they find a hole that wasn't there before, a fresh open grave where no grave should be. But who dug it and for whom? So yeah, I'm very much intrigued about this one. And since getting home, and really today I did start Bringer of Dust by J.M. Merrill, which is a sequel to Ordinary Monsters. And if you saw my last video, which would be my September wrap-up, you would have seen with me trying to remember the synopsis of Ordinary Monsters. This didn't go well. Yeah. And Ordinary Monsters, which is the first book, it's about this group of kids who have these talents, these supernatural abilities, and it's really about these 2 young kids. One who's like 6, who I believe glows blue, and this other one who is able to heal himself, and they are brought to this manor by these 2 individuals, and they are put into, I guess, the custody of this person named Carndale, and who has this role of like taking in these kids to protect them and really hide them from the rest of society, because these abilities aren't really well known in society, which is like, I believe this is around the late 1800s, and as well they have abilities that people are afraid of, so it's for the kids' protection and as well for the protection of everyone else. And the younger of these 2 boys, a kid named Marlowe, he is being haunted by this figure named Jacob, who is after him. So yeah, that's what I really much remember from the first book. And so far in the second book, we see the consequences, not consequences, but I guess part of the aftermath of the events of the end of the first book. And this is 4 months later, and it's really a group of these kids trying to find answers, trying to find a way to save Marlowe from this other world that he's trapped in, that he really went in to steal it off from like our world. So yeah, and we also follow this girl who, she herself is a talent. She is a bone witch. She can sends bones on people. Like she gets very like overwhelmed when she's around a lot of people because of well their bones, and she hates the fact she is a talent because she was abandoned because of who she is on several occasions, and now she is part of this group or organization that hates talents as well. And she is tasked with finding Jacob's body and collecting the dust from it. So, yeah, so far I'm very much intrigued. I'm only like, I think 52 pages in, so yeah. And I think for the rest of the day I'm just gonna be relaxed, and I'm just quite tired just because from where I live from Kent, it's about an hour and a half drive, and I just get tired from long car rides, even if I was the one who was driving today. So yeah, so so it's the next day, and I've just done some cleaning in water, and I have done a bit of reading of Bringer of Dust by J. Merrill. I'm on page 130. And so far, I'm liking the atmosphere. It's quite, I guess, wintry would be the best way to describe it. Like, we're in Edinburgh, and there's like snow falling, and it's like quite moody in a way. Like, yeah. But so far, we have seen Jetta, who's the girl, the talent really, who resents the fact she's a talent, who is part of this organization that also resents talents. And she and I guess her partner, someone who is part of the organization, someone who is familiar with like Keraton, they are to go to the manor to find Jacob's body to see if it is there, and to collect the dust from his body because the leader of the organization, the man named Kraker, he has plans for it. I guess he wants it. And while they are there, she sees this like, I guess, ghost or something of Marlowe, and it's not like he's back in this world as like a ghost. Like it is suspected he might be dead because of the fact like no one can go through this other world and survive. But like he is able to be in that world and show up in our world through. It appears he might not have his proper memories of our world. I'm not sure, but yeah, and it seems he is going to help her get to Jacob because Marlowe is somehow connected to Jacob. So yeah, and we see more like besides that, I guess I quest more of like how Charlie was affected by the fact like when him and Mrs. Thick accidentally like released some dust, and they both were, I guess, affected by it, and he got his powers back temporarily. It's like it shows that the dust itself doesn't corrupt a person, doesn't turn them evil, but it's the person themselves who is evil, which I guess is a good message considering what this happens later in that book when Jetta and Charlie kind of encounter one another. Jetta is following Charlie and Mrs. Vick as Mrs. Vick is trying to get documents for the other children to be able to cross the channel into France, and she gives Charlie the vial that contains the dust, and Jetta is trying to get it from him. There's a bit of an altercation where some of the dust, like where the bottle breaks and some of the dust goes into Charlie, and he is worried that he will become evil. He will become like Jacob. Like he's so afraid of being evil, really. So yeah, I did like that message. Like it's not like this thing that can be used as a weapon that turns you evil. It's like who you are as a person, and yeah. And besides that, we also see how the other characters are trying to kind of get into the other world to kind of save Marlowe if he can be saved, because Komako, if that's the right pronunciation, she found someone who used to be like, oh my god, no, Mr. Bailey, who used to help Mr. Burgast at Horton, and the two of them are going to go to this Spanish graphic, yeah, to see if they can talk to it and see if they can find any answers. And Komako, she's not so hopeful as Charlie in the fact, like, in hoping that Marlowe is still alive, because she is the one who highly doubts that Marlowe is still alive after everything he's encountered. And we really does see the journey she and Mr. Bailey take to the Spanish graphic, like their journey through Spain, and J.M. Marlowe, like he's not, I guess, oblivious to the fact, like Komoko, who is half Japanese, I believe it is, a woman traveling through Spain in the 1880s, like that's quite an unusual thing in Spain during this time period. And like he has mentioned it, and this being the fact, like people often talk to Mr. Bailey, like when they're paying for a ticket, even through the money is coming from her purse. Like it's like this white man has, I guess, more social power, I would say, or people believe he's more credible than this woman who has the money. And it's like they're ignoring the fact she's giving them the money and they're just talking to him. So I do like that he is pointing it out, and not pointing it out, but he is showing it. Like he's not kind of making it so unbelievable that no one is really ignoring the fact that this Japanese woman is really like almost leading this white man. And this white man is like not her acquaintance, but her hangman. Not hangman. Oh my god, what is the word? But she's clearly the one that has the money. Is what I mean. I'm blinking on words. I don't know why, but yeah. Then yeah. Otherwise, like I am intrigued, and I am curious to see if the dust that's entered Charlie, if it will actually corrupt him, or if it will be like almost like a pseudo fact, I guess, where he believes that this thing will turn him evil, so he will become evil, or if he will stay true to who he is and he will stay good, and he will use this dust to be able to save his friend. So yeah, I'm very much intrigued about the effect that this will have on Charlie. So yeah, I just remember that a few times when Jetta when she sees the ghost, I guess, that is Marlowe, he kind of changes. Like he at one minute will be this like demonic creature, and the next like normal looking one. Like it's like he does shift, so that is also very much like intriguing. Like, is there something going on there, or is it in her head, or is it because Marlowe isn't really there? Like it's like appreciation, or not appreciation, my word, the apparition, where it's like it's really more of a visual or a ghost rather than an actual human being. So that is very much interesting. And yeah, like, if you like, and so it's the next day, and I've just done some more reading of Bringer of Dust. Put me at page 212. Still very much liking it. we see how Komako and Mr. Bailey, like, they encountered a Spanish graphic thingy who tells them, like, I guess what dreams of, or what it believes the future will hold. And we see how it did require a sacrifice which Mr. Bailey didn't know of, and he gave himself over as this sacrifice. And Komako, she seems to feel a bit not guilty about it, but sad about it almost. And we also see how she herself is worried about becoming like Jacob, because she does have, I guess, the same talent that he did. Like they were both desk workers, and so she did have a sort of relationship with him. Like she loved him like a brother. Like she saw him as family. And yeah, she's just worried about that. And we also see like kind of the journey that Mrs. Fick and Charlie have to go on, to go to London, to go to the shipping yard, to whatever night. And we see that they will be facing more of Quaker Jacks, I believe. I guess his people who he sends out to try and stop them. He himself has a graphic thing in his, I guess, dungeon would be the best way to describe it. Who also sees visuals, or really has dreams and in visions, and it shows the young kids that Quaker has working for him of Mrs. Fick and someone who is probably Charlie's father, who Quaker assumes is Charlie's father. Getting away with the dust, with the wing that Charlie has. And apparently, Quaker claims that Charlie's father took the wing from him and then went away. Like, Charlie's existence is unknown to them. So, yeah, we really see, like, how they are now trying to get to Mrs. Fick and Quaker. Like, they are just doing what they're supposed to do, are told to do. So, you see how Jetta, she really decides enough is enough. She's done killing people, done being evil, done being used as this weapon almost for other people after she sees what Ruth did to her pet. It was a bone bird, and I guess a bird made out of bones that Jetta found. And yeah, that's what we really see. That we do learn really what the title bringer of this means on page 136 when it's like Komako is like, what's the bringer of dust? And the graphic says, I dreamed this age long ago, Dustweaver, that a child would be taken from the Talon world and raised unknowing. A child unlike any other, a child who would know the talents of the five if they were one, who would face down the first and bring about his ruin and the ruin of his kind. The dark talent is rising, Komako on. Our time is nearing its end, and it seems like the bringer of this is the person who can bring on to like. It sounds like it's almost the end of talent time, which is a fascinating concept. And yeah, like I'm wondering if that person is, I guess, destined to be Marlo, who's currently trapped in the other world, or if it's one of the other kids, like oh my god, why am I like Charlie? Why was I blanking on his name? I have no idea. Who is I believe it was a Helen, who is a person who can heal himself quickly, or and has the dust inside him currently. Like if it's him or if it's like Marl or someone. And speaking of Charlie's, that he does have Mrs. Fick try to perform this procedure where cutting out his skin. Sorry if it's on my finger, I just hit my camera. Where cutting off his skin, cutting out the dust from him might take that dust out of him entirely. That fails, and Charlie is still afraid of the dust, of what it will cause him to become. And Mrs. Fick again reassures him, it's like, the dust cannot control who you become, but you decide who you become with this dust inside him. Like, what's done is done. Charlie has the options of like how to move forward with this new thing, which I do like it's not this thing that causes a person to be evil, but the person themselves, their motives, their, I guess, morals. So yeah, I'm very much intrigued. Like, I think Charlie would say good, but yeah, and he also sees this appreciation, or like this what's supposed to be a ghost of Marla, but it's not really Marla. It's this thing that's supposed to look like I'm trying to convince Charlie to give up the dust. So yeah, I'm very much intrigued about what this thing's motivation is, and what it will do once it gets its hands on the dust. So yeah, so far very much intrigued about this. Yeah. And I think for the rest of the day, while it's nice, I might go for a walk and might just be doing some cleaning and whatnot. So yeah, I'll see you next. So it's the next day, and I just got back from a walk. The weather is like typical fall weather, I guess. Like 1 second it's nice and breezy, the next second it's a bit warm, but yeah, overall it's a nice walk. And otherwise, I have done quite a bit of reading of Bringer of Dust, putting me on page 302, and I just noticed that really this part, we're really focusing on Charlie and Mrs. Fick, I'm sorry, with like out of like I guess the cast from the last book, like, and we get kind of snippets, I would say, of Komako and whatnot. Like, I would have liked to, I guess, see more of the others, like of what Alice is up to, of what's happening in France. I know that's not probably really like relevant to the plot, but I think it's mainly like we spend so long really getting to know those characters that I would like to see them. Yeah, and as well, I would have liked to see, I guess, the real Marlowe, not this appreciation or this image of him that Newsflash is Adar, the, I guess, bad guy, the person from, the legitimate bad guy, the real bad guy, who's the person from the other world. But yep. But so far we see like Charlie and Mrs. Fick being attacked by like Maka, his sisters, like people, kind of street urchins who serve Quaker Jack, and we see how Maka kills Charlie and they hunt down Mrs. Fick. With that scene, I would have liked it to be longer, more, I guess, intense. I just didn't, it just felt like very, quite fast paced, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't know. But yeah, it seems like Mrs. Fick, she has a history with Quaker Jack. At one point they were both with Dr. Burgast at Kirton. And we see how Jack, or we, how we learn Jack is like, he's doing experiments trying to figure out where in a human body our talents lie, like if it's in the spleen, and some of them joined, and he thinks like that the talents, the thing that makes talents or made him, is in the frontal lobe, and he wanted to use the dust for part of his experiment. He thinks that if he consumes the dust, that it will bring his talent back to him. So yeah, and we see how Jetta, she goes into the what was it called? Not Fates, but Falls, I want to say it was, where Quaker Jax told her not to go there. It's not safe for her, and she does go there. She's caught. She's captured. Quaker Jack's like, nah, I'm not gonna do anything for you. I'm just gonna leave you up to whatever these exiles want to do with you, which in her case is kind of have her fight the Lich. And I'm saying fight because the Lich is this creature that would just destroy her, whip her to shreds, and it's like almost entertainment for the exiles who hate talent so much that for them it is enjoyment seeing a talent whipped to shreds. And that and some, and basically the second part of what I read today was Charlie is able to get the lich to be free, and it goes on this rampage trying to get to Clicker Jack because before he lost his talent, he was the one who was the master of this lich, who was his mother. And he wants to regain his talent as well, to regain control over her, and as well all that's going on the graphic thing that he has in the vaults kind of summons the rest of the children who came from the other world, like most of them except one of the girls. I want to say her name was like Daedra. I'm butchering that probably. But she summons them and they kind of unleash water or something. They cause a flood in the falls, killing most of the people, and a lot of people do die. And Micah really is the only one who escapes from that. Like his sisters are killed because Charlie used one of Micah's sisters to kind of stop a blow that Micah was gonna do to him. And I don't know, the whole second half of this part was this chaos. Like, there's floods, people attacking each other, people running for their lives. Like, it was just a bit chaotic and like a lot was going on. So, yeah, but I think the most disturbing part was like around page, I want to say 287. Quaker Jack, he does consume part of the dust in a drink, and it changes him. Like he becomes this ball and then he becomes like a window or a mirror into the other world, and we see what's happening there before he explodes. So yeah, somehow this dust is capable of doing that, the dust that came from Jacob's body. And I don't know, I just found that very intriguing just because it's like of the ability of that. So yeah. And as I did mention, we do learn that it's appreciation, appreciation, I don't know, appreciation. It's APPARITION. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I apologize. But she, for some reason, is just showing just the form of Marlowe, I guess, to get sympathy from just like she wants to help this little kid, and it's like she can sense that there's something off about it. Like this is not a normal young boy, but something else, something I guess she thinks trying to deceive her. But yeah, looks like the Dara has its own plans. Like she claims that Marlowe is in danger. So yeah, I'm very much intrigued about what's gonna happen next. I'm also Micah, he and his sisters, and as well Wolf, they keep mentioning something, or this person called the Abyss, and I'm like, who the hell is that? Who exactly is the Abyss? Like, that's something I would like to learn. And then I guess in the rest of the novel, like, who is she? So yeah. And yeah, overall, I just found this last like maybe 40 pages or so. It's very intense with a lot was going on, and yeah, looks like one of the bad guys is dead, and we do see more of what this dust can do, because when Jack becomes this mirror window thing, the dust that's inside Charlie, it starts to hurt him. So I'm like, what's gonna happen with that? So yeah, overall, I'm very much enjoying this novel. Like, I might complain about pacing at times, but it's for me it's like quite fast. Like I'm like so engrossed in it as well. So yeah, And yeah, I think that's all for now, so I'll see you. So it's the next day, and I just got back probably a couple hours ago from running some errands. I had an appointment I had to go to and whatnot. And yeah, I just had some dinner and whatnot. And I have done quite a bit of reading of Bringer of Dusk, and now I'm on page 392. And again, so very much enjoying it. We did finally get a perspective change, because I think for the first 300 pages or so, we were really focused on Charlie and Mrs. Fick and their whole adventures through Edinburgh, through London, through the falls and whatnot. Like, I feel like they were the main characters. And finally we see the other characters. We see how Marlowe is faring in the other world that has a proper name of bumbling, you know. But he is mostly alone. He has this spirit friend named Brian, which I think appeared in the first book. I definitely should have read the first book or reread it, because I read it probably in 2022 or when it initially came out. And Marlowe, he runs into Dr. Burgast, who is alive apparently, and he is in the other world to really help and seal up the ozone thingy. And together they have to run from the Dar, who are out for Marlowe because of what he is. So yeah, that's right. And we also learn how the Dar, how they came to be. There was this talent named Alistair Carndale, who he wanted to kind of bring the talents into not existence, but kind of show to the rest of the world that they're real. They should be like almost treated like they're not leaders, but they are heroes, or that they are or that they're like gods of some sort. And he somehow connected himself to all talent-kind, meaning that they couldn't kill him without destroying themselves, destroying their talents. And because of his plans, this group called the Agono Santidi, there's a war between him and them, and he lost, they put him into this sleep because of the fact they couldn't kill him, but it's a sleep that he can never be awakened from, and they sealed him into the other world, and they have 5 talents, one of each kind of talent, guard him, and he affected them. He was able to pass on his dreams to them, and he corrupted them, and he turned them into stars, and we really learn about them, which, I don't know, I feel like that is quite an interesting thing. And yeah, we really end that part with, oh my god, Marlowe and Mr. Burgess. I'm tired, I'm sorry, but them running from them. Yeah, the next part really is Abigail Devonshaw, who's the governess at Carndale, with the surviving children, and Charlie and Mrs. Fick shows up, and yeah, we really are with them, I guess. Mrs. Fick, she mourns the loss of the other Gibbs children, who you can feel her sorrow, how she cared for them, but how she is also in charge of transcribing the writing on a wall in I think it was a basement, that the others couldn't transcribe, that Oscar couldn't transcribe, and it kind of says the same thing we learned about from Dr. Burgess. So yeah. And my only issue with this part is we are told repeatedly that Komako, she's changed from her experience in Spain, not just physically with the fact her hands and her face were burned by the gallop. Gallop? Not gallop. Yeah. But she has changed behaviorally, she isn't herself, and I don't know, I feel like we're being told that more than we're being shown. We get it from other characters, but we're viewing her, but I don't know, I just don't feel like feel the same. Yeah. And the other like side characters like Jetta and Micah, they are both in Paris, but for different reasons. Jetta's there to find the ozone and the graphic and try and get to the other world, get the dust relief for the Dar she's with, who the Dar, she is one of the initial like people who went into the ozone to guard Alistair, and she left behind a son, and the son hasn't died, but she was the one who found Marlowe, and she took him in almost like as her adopted son, which I kind of do like. And Micah is there to really report to the Abbess what happened, and we do learn that the Abbess, she's either this very old figure, she's a Helen who the figure who can kill herself, or it's a title that's passed down. So I'm very intrigued to see if it is the Helen perspective or the Abbess thing. And yeah, so far enjoying it. I'm just having a lot of fun with it. So yeah, I think for the rest of the day I'm just gonna was, I don't know why I'm so tired. So yeah, I'll see you when so so it's the next day, and as you saw, I did go out this today. I went to a tag sale this morning, during which I did buy this like a lamp thing for $1. I'm just gonna use it as decor on my bookcase that's by me, and yeah, I just like it a lot. And I did walk. It is definitely starting to look more and more like, colorful outside, so that pleases me very much. And then I just went some errands. I just did some grocery shopping and whatnot, and I just got home. So yeah, enough of that. And as well, since I've gone home, I have done quite a bit of reading of Bringer of Dust, and now I'm on page 452. And so I'm just having fun with it. I'm enjoying it. Like it, I would say for me personally, I enjoyed the first book because it was very atmospheric, and for me that whole like gothic atmosphere isn't really there for me in this one, unfortunately. But like I am liking it. I am intrigued to see like what happens, and yeah, and really what we've learned so far. I did take notes, so I won't like, so I can try and ramble less in this update. But what we learn is that Alice and Ribs, they come back from Paris. Ribs is like, I think one of the kids, one of the talents who was taken in. And we learned that Alice, she is affected by the dust after Jacob Marber attacked her on a train in a previous novel. Like he stabbed her inside, and she can feel like the Orson, or like feel where it is because of the wound on her side. And Orson really is just like, I haven't really explained it properly, but it's like, I guess, a portal to the other world. So yeah, and with that, it seems like because the Dar that was previously there was like killed and whatnot, Mrs. Vick and Oscar, they figured out a way to really open it by using one of the graphic hits. And it's not our graphic who was there previously but was killed, thank God. Named Dieter, I don't know how to pronounce it, but she's like a replacement for the graphic that are supposed to be there. So yeah, and because they figured it out, a Dar does attack the Vita, and Charlie and Komako are able to stop it. And now Charlie and Wims are going back to Paris with Badger to try and open the door sound to go into the other world to try and save Marlowe. And Komako, she initially wants to go with them, go with Charlie really, but she is told to stay at a bit like this, just in case the door comes back and attacks them again, because of the fact she is a death worker, she is able to stop it. And Komako, she shares with Charlie her fears and we know why she's been avoiding him, and it's because of that vision that the Spanish graphic showed her, and it's like it showed her a vision of who the Dark One, the Dark, what do you say, oh my god, I stopped. The Dark Talent is who, which is like a living boy born in a land of the dead, and she shares with him that it's Charlie that's this dead talent, it's not Marlowe like they all thought, so I'm intrigued to see where that goes, like, and yeah. And speaking of Marlowe, like, he has this vision of the other door, like, taking him to the Dark Talent, to the first talent, my god, I didn't sleep. Who apparently has been pretending to be asleep, he's been awake for some time, and it turns out that he is still with Dr. Burgess, and really we learn of like what happened to some of the talent kids who they were taken by the door, so the door could really feast upon them, and that there's statues of them like in a memorial, which is this heartbreaking. Marlon, he does feel a lot. He is scared, but as well we learn, like, really the world that they're in was created initially for the first talent to serve as like his prison. Like, it was meant to be a living prison for him, as long and used against him, but gradually as he got more and more powerful in this landscape, it became more than just a prison, it became an entire world. So yeah, that was interesting. Like I ended the chapter I was on with Dr. Burgast and Marlowe going through a mirror. So again, intrigued to see where they end up. So yeah, overall, I'm just enjoying this novel, and yeah, and I think that's it for this vlog. So if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below telling me what you've been up to recently. If you want to, please subscribe to this channel, and if you want to follow me on any social media, then those things are in the down bar below. I'll see you guys next time I post a video. Bye.